Hey, my people. It's me, Steve. I haven't gone out in a very long time in terms of just going out and vlogging for fun. Not necessarily, look at me. I look like I got a big cabin fever. I've just been working a lot on stuff. I've been working a lot in general. The weather's been sucky. There's been a lot of reasons and sometimes excuses why I haven't gone out and about. I want to go out for just a little while, see what happens. So I decided, no, kind of like, I want to go somewhere. Where do I want to go? Do I want to go that way, that way? So I decided I'm going to let fate be my deciding factor. I'm not going to check the schedule. I'm just going to go down to the bus depot, if people even still call it that. And barring like a bus that's going to take me out to the middle of nowhere, like I know there's a bus that goes out to Estacada. Sorry, I had some recent dental work done and redone. I'm going to, whatever bus pulls up first after I get there, that's the bus I'm going to get on, and I'm going to just take that bus till I think this is a good spot to get off. And then I'm just going to see what I see for a little while. So, let's go do that now. Oh no, I just missed the 31. This one that goes by where I used to live. That'd have been an okay ride, but alas. There goes that one. Okay, well, not the most entertaining first venture into something like this, because the odds are you're either going to get, the most likely buses you're going to get are the 33 or the 72, which I already take all the time. So I got the 72, which is the bus I take the most because it's the one I sometimes take to and from work. So, not flawless, but I decided to get off here. I wanted to get past Johnson Creek Boulevard because there's nothing really to see down there besides commerce and apartments, and now you get to see a little bit of 82nd as you're slowly getting into like the rougher area, like you're slowly making your way towards the old school Felony Flats Ridge. And oh my god, that creeped me out. I want to turn down this sketchy dead-end street, but I thought that was a real person staring at me for a second. I know this is a dead end, and Google Maps makes stuff look weird, but there is one spot I just want to take a gander at if I can. I've seen this place from a distance. I gotta learn more about this place. It looks awesome. And it's just kind of hidden back here off of 82nd. I don't know. I've seen the roof like in passing, but I've never, I don't know. Anyway, I'm getting the fuck off the street. It's the most ratchet ass back roads. Freaking dead end street. Anyway, I came here primarily to show you this beat up piece of hell over here for a specific reason. That little spot I just showed you with the beat up little kind of trailer home with just random shit around it real beat up. That spot, I'm going back more than 30 years, so I don't know how different it would have looked, if at all. But according to newspapers, that was the one-time location where a young woman named Cynthia DeVore used to live. Stop looking at me. That's according to newspapers. They gave her address as being, I don't remember the exact address, but I want to say it was 83 or maybe 84 something, Sherritt Street. And of course, this is 82nd. You go this way, it becomes 83rd. So you get 82, 83 addresses. And Cynthia DeVore was one of the victims of serial killer Dayton Leroy Rogers, who I did a video on a while back. But when I did that video, which that was like 2 years ago, I hadn't seen that little detail, that little wrinkle. I probably would have at least visited the spot briefly had I known. So I'm gonna head up here and probably just cross up here where Springwater Corridor crosses over. Get off 82nd Street. I've spent enough time on 82nd Street in my life. So I'm gonna go west or left. Corridor, a sign that's seen better days. So I know this, the corridor, it starts kind of meandering its way south and it eventually hits Johnson Creek Boulevard, not too far from here, and then just straddles with Johnson Creek for a while. I forget. I'm right by Cartlandia. Big mess of food carts. I was just walking, not really looking this way. I was kind of like, it smells pretty good. All right, so I could stay on the corridor, which I did a couple months ago when I walked through here. So I think I'm gonna turn on to Harney. And because I'm officially in Portland now. I'm just a little bit, like a few blocks north of where the southern border of Portland is, which in this area kind of more or less straddles along where Johnson Creek Boulevard is. So I'm a couple blocks north from where Portland ends. So I did not wake up with the intention of doing this today. I just know that I am in dire need of, holy shit, no trespassing, but take a look at that. Falling on hard times, I would say. Anyway, as I was saying, I've been in dire need of more physical activity, and just haven't really, other than work, haven't really been getting the physical activity I need. And so I need to be going out and walking around a little bit more, even if I'm not making a big video. But so you're on camera too, but trust me, I'm here purely out of interest and intrigue and a deep longing for urbexing again. But as I've said many times, I learned my lesson once. If they take the time to put the sign up, you know, and there's no signs that somebody's living there or maintaining it, yeah, you don't go in. It's my policy. So I've had a need, independent of vlogging, videoing, YouTubing, to be going out and getting some physical activity, whatever that may be. So I might do this a little bit more often from time to time. That kind of just, hey, go down to start of the bus lines, and whichever bus shows up first, get on and just take it somewhere and figure out where you want to get off. I will incorporate a rule, though, that whatever bus I took the time previous, because again, I could end up taking the 72 and the 33 over and over again, because they run the most frequently. Whatever bus I take the previous time is not an option the second time. So the next time I go and try to do this, if the 72 is again the first bus that's leaving when I get there, I skip it, wait for the next one, assuming that isn't also a 72, which has happened. And just walk around. I still want to, you know, as much as I can. There's not really a whole lot of them left, but try to target places I haven't been or haven't been to frequently, so I'm still mostly seeing new stuff. So yeah, this is Southeast Harney Street I'm on. And yeah, it's another one of these areas that has a lot of the roads I passed are still gravel. Even this one's a little beat up, but at least it's paved. So yeah, those are still very common in Portland, mostly on the east side where, you know, people ain't got as much money. And I just mentioned it a lot because apparently a lot of other major American cities, that's not a thing. Maybe unless it's like a city that's like I can see that being the case maybe in like a place like Detroit where it's just been run down and they've been struggling for so long. But yeah, there's still so many roads on the east side of Portland that are unpaved. And a girl that helped me with my last movie who moved here from New York, so she'd never really been to Oregon, and she'd had experience living in the big city, and she told me like, so hey, can I ask you a question? Because she ended up living in Northeast Portland. She was like, is it normal the fact that like so many of your roads are unpaved? Like, that's bizarre to me. So maybe that's just a New York thing, but kind of get the feeling most major American cities don't have that issue, at least to the level that Portland does, because I still think more than 10%, or maybe that's an issue, maybe it's more like 5%, but that's still a lot of Portland streets are unpaved. 72nd Street. I knew I was at 72nd because I recognized the ball field over here. I used to drive up and down 72nd to get to work, and one of the buses that goes back towards Clackamas comes through here, so I've just known this for a long time. Huh. Yeah. Restrooms. Not available to me, though. Not that I need one right now, but yeah, I'm gonna stay on Harney just a little bit longer. No dogs, please. Safe drivers equals good neighbors. Well, that's just not accurate. One does not equate to the other, and that was an equal sign. Some of the most granny drivers I've ever known are some of the shittiest people in the world that you'd never want living next door to you. We're kind of like just south of the area kind of recently, historically known as Felony Flats, because we're pretty close to Flavel. I haven't really been through here. Get away from there right quick. That's a pretty nice view though. And the homeless vehicles aren't in the way of it. Yeah, one of the RVs I just walked by, there was 2 women in there. I doubt it came out my recording, but there was 2 women in there just screaming at each other. Like, not like just general fighting, but like just like, yeah, mother, I'll tell you, no. Very erratic. So I just passed 63rd and Clatsop. I had to stop as I'm bringing you this news in real time, even though you're not going to see this till later. I had to pause to respond to an email. So I'm going to go on my YouTube account and put a post out. So when those of you that are on my main Steve the Amateur Story channel, when you see that post, you'll know where I was when I did it. But I had this event coming up where I was going to do a video presentation January 30th, and put out an email and kind of was getting a little flustered. I wasn't getting a response back, but I did it right before the weekend, so I was like, okay, well maybe the guy's not there over the weekend. And it's like, okay, the event's like a week away. We got like, and I still got questions, like but he got back to me. and said like, yeah, we're gonna need to reschedule this. And I totally agree with the reasoning on this. You know, we didn't even start talking about this project till like 3 weeks before it was gonna happen. And he said, yeah, you know, I really haven't had a lot of time. I haven't had enough time to like promote it and all that stuff. And obviously we don't want to set up this event and then have nobody show up because nobody knew about it. And so we're rescheduling it for probably sometime in late March. So I had to pause and respond to him. And you know what? That works a-okay for me. So I'm now on Harney Drive, having crossed Flavel Drive. I remember going through that intersection I just went to driving and looking this way and seeing the road just kind of turn off and start aiming downhill. And I'm like, I never drove this way. And I'm like, I always wondered what was around this corner. Probably not much, just more houses or bushes or whatever. But yeah, I've been working so hard on this Portland Buildings video for that presentation, and I've become completely burned out on it. I've literally been fighting just to get like 2 or 3 minutes edited at a time. And it's not that I hate the video. I think the video is going to come out just fine. It's just, it's all I've been working on for the last 2 weeks. So I'm super burnt out. Oh, snap. Wow. Anybody need a ride on the Jeep? Yeah, road just wraps around and starts taking you downward. That's fine with me. I've never been down this stretch before, so if there's a stretch of road I've never been down in the City of Roses, I have no problem. So yeah, it's going to be rescheduled probably to sometime late March, is what he said. We'll hammer out the details as time goes by. So this is great, actually. The event is still on. The guy is, obviously still invested. He brought this to my attention like, hey, I would like you to come and do a presentation. So I know he's excited about this whole event. And it gives me a chance to take a break from working on that video so I can come back refreshed and not be editing it from a place of like, well, shit, I have to get this thing done, so I'm going to pound something out. I can take a little bit more time, come back refreshed and more invested, and get this thing done the way it should be. It's actually kind of pretty down here for being just kind of, whatever. Southeast Portland. It's weird. Because I think, because the numbered streets in this city, they go north and south, but I feel like I'm kind of going north. So am I actually going east? West. So yeah, so this road just wraps around and then comes out straight, and if you turn and go up 52nd, you can get to Errol Heights Park. I think that's the neighborhood I'm in. Or at least, kinda. Yeah, I'm on the wrong side of the street right now. That was not a great stretch to be walking on with vehicles coming. But yeah, I think it was closed the last time I saw it. But yeah, it's you can get through it real quick, but I don't know if the park is open. Because otherwise, I'd like, yeah, shit, let's walk through it. What the hell? It's like a little table and stuff. What was this used for? Maybe it's just property connected to this school. Look at this sign. This is an awesome sign. I love it. This is something you put on like a stock image for a creepypasta. Employee and visitor shoppers parking only. Shoppers? What was there, a mall here at one time? I mean, this is a pretty big space, but it's residential. It doesn't seem like a store would even be here. This is interesting. I don't know. Who are the shoppers? Maybe it was like a small thing, like a neighborhood market, or like a neighborhood, like locals selling their wares. There's an old sign too. This thing's got some growth on it. Shoppers. That's got me just tweaked. Who were the shoppers? What was the shopping? Ooh, some Kirkland eggs. Those are the best eggs. Is this a store over here? No, this is a school, right? It looks like a school. It acts like a school. Is this where the shoppers go? Why would they be parked over here, having to walk through a field? I have a lot of questions. I might be able to go back. I don't know. That sign looks like it's been just rotting away for who knows how long. I like to go back in some old Google imagery, or maybe somebody knows the details about what that's all about. I don't know. This isn't a school. I don't know why I thought this might. I don't know. From a distance, it kind of looked like a random school, a school of minimal attention. But no, this is something else. It still doesn't look like a place that people would shop at. I'm shook. I'm shook to my core. Oh, White Stag. I guess, is there business here? And then there's Columbia Knit something? I don't know. It's very interesting. Nope. I was gonna say, let's go up at 52nd and see if Arrowhead Heights Park is open, but I'm not going up that hill. I know I'll have to. Yeah, White Stag. The Portland, Oregon sign you see in downtown. It used to say Made in Oregon on that sign. And originally it was an ad for White Stag. That's why there's a deer, there's a deer randomly on the sign. It's because it was originally a White Stag sign on top of the building. So one of the guys at work, who's lived in Portland, I think a couple years, but's from the East Coast. So they didn't grow up here, so you can justify them making a mistake. Told me, he was like, I work with this guy, and he's the dumbest guy in the world. And I got into this argument with him, and he's like, yeah, like the Portland, Oregon sign in downtown. Like, he kept trying to convince me that it was originally like a White Stag sign. I'm like, no, it wasn't. He's like, yes, it is. I'm like, dude, no, it wasn't. And I just looked at him, and I'm like, it was originally a White Stag sign. He was like, really? Fuck. An honest mistake. The guy he works with is probably still a douche. It's frustrating. It looks like they just graded the shit out of the hill. And like, this place was known for nature. Like, I hope whatever they're effing doing is like they're trying to maintain the health of the habitat. But seeing how much stuff is still up, I doubt it's open. Yeah, because this is part of the park, and you can see there's a lot of netting up and stuff, and it looks like they cleared a lot out of here. I don't know, maybe there was a lot of invasive species or a lot of brush and stuff choking out other brush. I mean, it looks like there's this orange plasticky fencing stuff. It looks like it's around the pathway. I wonder if this used to be an entrance at some time, or maybe this was like an entrance to a business that was once here. I don't know, you might be able to go in there. It seems very hit and miss. I'll at least go over and take a look. Yeah, because you could not even come close to seeing the street from the trail over there. This was all trees and brush and stuff. You can see there's stumps everywhere. So I don't know what exactly. Look at this gate is really old. Like, I'm wondering if there used to be businesses here before they cleared them out. Because this gate, or this this metal is rusted. It's very old. And there's all these random, seemingly kind of abandoned looking entry points. So maybe like a business used to be here before they turned it into this nature area. Oh, howdy do, folks. Yeah, see, one's always eating, the other's always got an eye out. One's always watching. Right. Yeah, and Johnson Creek Boulevard becomes Tacoma. That's just around the corner. So I want to at least see. I doubt it. It looks like this area here has been like cordoned off, like as a construction site. So I doubt it's open. Oh, 75 goes through here. I was about to say I've kind of strayed away from where any buses are, but 75 goes through here. So I mean, hey, I got a nearby bus. 75. Well, the 75 goes to Milwaukee, and I'd have to switch to the 33. So it's not a straight bus home, but it is what it is. Ooh, there's a convenience store right there. I haven't been inside a sketchy convenience store in a minute. Yeah, it's all blocked off. They got a big, like, backhoe thing there. There's no way it's open for public access. So I'm gonna hustle across the street when I can. Yeah, it's all cordoned off. Dang. This is all torn open. I came through here a couple years ago shooting video of like demoed places and new housing developments, and that was just like a little tiny dirty road, dirt road cutting up. So I'm at 45th and Crystal Springs, and I'm gonna turn because the roads, a couple of roads back there, all dead end. There's the only one that goes through. I know there's been a lot of redevelopment in this area. A lot of, well, you can see a lot of old homes torn down and replaced, which I'm not against. Some homes fall apart, some are just decrepit and need to go, but Portland has had a long-standing housing issue, and it's not the people making $100,000 a year that are having the issue. It's the people that don't have the money, and they continue to take away these semi-affordable housing options and replace them with not affordable housing options. And they continue to build these loft apartments that nobody of remotely modest means can afford. Here I am back on my soapbox, but I mean, I have to live in this and see it all the time. I'm constantly reminded of it. And then you wonder why you don't just see drunks living on the street. You don't just see drug addicts living on the street. You see families on the street sometimes in this city. Whole families. And some of them are scammers, but most of them aren't. You know, they continue to build. Instead of building actual affordable housing, they keep letting these lofts get built that nobody can afford to live in, that barely ever get any tenants, and no actual housing that people need that's within their financial realm is getting built. I feel lucky, you know, my apartment's tiny as hell and it costs way more than it should. Our rent is going to be like, if we renew our lease, our rent is going to be like $1,150 for a tiny ass 1-bedroom apartment. But you know what? I'm grateful that I even have a freaking place to live in this city. So yeah, I remember coming through this general area, and it's a nice area, which is probably part of the reason why developers have been so predatory here. Is, you know, what I think is so funny is when they demo some houses in like a rougher part of town and put these big houses in, or these ugly duplexes, and they think they're gonna get like $600,000, $700,000, $800,000 for these places. They built 2 of these really ugly kind of duplexes that are popping up. You know, you can build them tall and thin so you can get 2 units in there and get the most out of this one lot that you have. And they built 2 of these right across the street from Eastport Plaza, where I work. And now, especially right now, there's like a big homeless camp that's just been growing and spreading along the street there. And it's edging so close to those duplexes that someone probably still spent almost $500,000 on. And now you're like not even a full block from 82nd and all the shenanigans that goes on there. You're getting all the weird people that loiter in the mall or the plaza area. And now you've got this ever-growing homeless camp that nobody seems to be interested in doing anything about. So, I mean, joke's on them. I don't know who would buy a home right there. It could have been $100,000. I wouldn't have bought it. Not right there. Are you kidding me? You have to be packing just to go out and check your mail each day. Like, no thank you. I'd rather be paying a little extra for something modest in an okay area. And honestly, there's some weirdos around where I live. But it's still, it's night and day compared to what I see walking through lots of parts of Portland nowadays. Out here I'm at Crystal Springs and Cesar Chavez. This is one of the like furthest southern portions that this street goes. Actually, I think this is where, this is actually where it ends, which is interesting because it was 39th, and then it was changed to Cesar Chavez, and this is kind of one of the most prominent north and south running roads on the east side of town, and this is where it begins on the south side. I knew it started somewhere in here, and if you go just a little bit, you wander north long enough there, you get into the vicinity of Reed College, aka the place where I proposed to my now fiance just a couple days ago. I know a lot of people watching content on this channel came over from my amateur historian channel, but I know some of you aren't, and a lot of people that watch my videos when they're new are people that aren't subscribed, so you don't necessarily know what's going on in my life. But yeah, just a few days back I proposed to my girlfriend of originally 4 months, then we broke up for 3 years, and realized we've still been mad about each other most of that time, and we've been back together like 7.5 years. Yeah, so this is where Tacoma, which Tacoma kind of goes, actually I think Johnson Creek comes up and around and ends at this stop right up here, and then 32nd goes that way, and Johnson Creek does this, but it becomes Tacoma. It starts heading that way towards Selwood. And yeah, so yeah, no, this is where, earlier I was like, oh, is this a streetcar? Because I saw when I went down by the park, there was like, it looked like they were like redid what like a trolley stop would look like. And I remembered, yeah, of course the trolleys came through here. Because I did a video a while back about the Hill family that was murdered, they would have lived just a little ways over here. They were all butchered to death in 1911. I did like a in-depth 2-hour documentary piece about them. And they were killed in the summer of 1911, still never been solved. So I was down here shooting video, and one of the guys that came under suspicion, he got off the streetcar that the stop would have been just up here a little way. So I was down here shooting a bunch of video. I think even video in this area, in the vicinity of where Tacoma crosses here. So yeah, I feel like a dum-dum being like, I think it was probably a streetcar that came through here. It's like, no, I know there was a streetcar that came through here. I forget which line it was. It may have been the line that continued on towards Estacada, which would make sense because the Springwater corridor, this just goes on forever in that direction, and it eventually gets to Boring, which is not too far from Estacada. So yeah, a streetcar line definitely 100% came through here. I just forgot that detail, and then I got over here, I'm like, oh, well, I remember this stretch of the corridor. where you're like down in the valley. The valley's so low. This is a good walk though, and I don't feel super exhausted or wiped out, which was one of my concerns. There's critters roaming around in there. Yeah, that was one of my concerns, was that I would be kind of wiped out. Because again, most of the activity I've gotten the last like 2-3 months has been at work. And there's a big difference between the physical activity you get walking around at work compared to the activity you get while you're out and about in nature walking around. Oh, where do you go? Yeah, I don't want to pass judgment on a whole area, but I remember kind of walking up in here and there's some real like redneck people up there. Yeah, see, this is what I was talking about this a little earlier when I was talking about how they have a lot of these in parks now, because of the homeless issue. And obviously camping makes sense. You don't want homeless people camping in your parks, but a lot of like just general no trespassing signs started popping up in the city about 4-5 years ago. And it was confusing at first because you're like, well, wait a minute, this is a park. Like, are you saying like I can't be in the park now? And then, after a few seconds of thinking it over, it dawned on me like, okay, well, I think that's just there because of the homeless issue. Like, they wouldn't be putting these signs up in every city park if they didn't want people to, like, we don't want anybody going to parks anymore in this town. And if you do, y'all are trespassing. So, yeah, I kind of was like, I don't know, confused, like a fool. So the bridge, I've never crossed the big orange, or whatever it's called, the corridor bridge up here. So I'm gonna do that today. But first, if I may, now you can go to my main channel, Steve the Amateur Historian. I'm gonna plug that a lot because it's my main channel, and I know some people watching this video here haven't been there. But yeah, I have an almost 2-hour-long video about the Hill family murders on my channel. You can find it pretty easily, even in a general YouTube search. But yeah, this is, I believe, the approximate site of where the streetcar would stop. Where people who lived in this area, this would be their primary stop where they got off the streetcar and went home. And the Hill family lived just a few blocks down, this area. And there was a guy named Nathan Harvey that I did a whole, a sort of podcast thing on about this guy and his sketchy past. And he was neighbors with them, and he'd actually tried to get the land that they bought. So there was issues between them, and there's a lot of sketchy stuff about Nathan Harvey. I could, spend all day talking about that. And people said that, when he came home the night that the family was murdered, he got off the streetcar here, and this is, maybe about 45 minutes to an hour before the family was killed. And people who got off the streetcar noticed that he kind of loitered in this area while they left. Like, he wanted to make sure everybody was gone before he started going, so, I guess no one would see him. And then he started walking. And I feel like he's the strongest candidate as the killer. I mean, I think he probably worked with someone. I don't think the murders were the work of one person. Or at least I doubt it. I mean, it could have been if the whole family was caught off guard. But yeah, that all happened just down over here, which is so interesting because this is a nondescript area today, and it carries this dark history. And actually, not too far from there was another case that people thought maybe Nathan Harvey was associated with. And then this is Selwood right over here. And somewhere kind of between the river and here, they said it was pretty close. The events were fairly close together. Back in the early 1890s, a little girl named Mamie Walsh was out strawberry picking, and she was grabbed and brutally killed by someone. And it's been theorized Nathan Harvey was maybe responsible for that. So there's but that's never been officially solved. They did nab a guy who was kind of delusional and crazy, and he was super scared when he was busted that people were gonna people were outside of the jail trying to get in so that they could get this guy, not Nathan Harvey, but this other guy. And this is where the Mac stop is too. And but yeah, trying to get into this guy's cell because they wanted to grab him and lynch him because they were all convinced that he was responsible for the murder. I doubt he was. I think he may have confessed to it at one point, but we know how confessions are, especially back in the old days. And this guy was definitely, he had a screw loose. He happened to live in really close to where the abduction happened. And he ended up, I want to say he managed to commit suicide in his cell. But yeah, so that never was officially solved. And there's this interesting Nathan Harvey potential connection between the stories. Now, this isn't the big bridge. This is just the bridge that crosses the Max, but the big bridge is Yonder. Is that accurate? Am I speaking proper English gibberish or whatever you would call that? Yeah, and then this is all Milwaukee, by the way. We're really close to like this. We're pretty much right over there by that overpass is is it somewhere? No, never mind. That's Tacoma. Yeah, we're really close to being on the border between Portland and Milwaukee. That's what I was trying to say. And yeah, so downtown, well, see, this is confusing because it's pointing downtown Milwaukee that way, but it's because you take this down and then go this way. Yeah, Max Station's right there. Downtown Portland, because you would cross and then go that way, and downtown Portland's right over there. And Sellwood, of course. I mean, pretty much, we're practically almost in Sellwood, if not already. Right on the cusp. So yeah, I've never, ever crossed this bridge. And this has been here, I still remember, years ago when there was nothing here. But this bridge has still been here a while. And it just gets the corridor across the highway here. Scared the shit out of me. I thought that was like a full-on, I guess it is pretty much a motorcycle. I was like, are motorized vehicles allowed on here? I don't know, maybe what the effing F? Do these come out? No, I thought maybe, can you like reorganize it to, it's a ball puzzle. Okay. So now I can say I've officially crossed this Big Orange. I think that's what it is. Isn't that like his bridge's nickname, Big Orange? Looks kind of like someone's spreading their legs out, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, so, ooh, wanna go hang out down there? Hello. I guess, I'm just this far down from the bridge. Pretty much I'm in Sellwood now. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, I did a video where I walked along part of the bike path and just saw a lot of this. Obviously, this has gotten a lot bigger. But just a lot of messes like that. And I posted the video, and some woman who said that she, works with, homeless people. I wasn't even that, aggressive about it. I was just like, oh, this is unfortunate, finding all these messes and needles and stuff. And this woman came on and just berated me. And by the way, this is Kellogg Creek. So saw Johnson Creek back that way, and now this is the other creek close by. So if you're on the Springwater Corridor long enough, you get to see both creeks. Not that they're that far away from each other. Yeah. Or no, this is Johnson Creek. I forget, we're north of downtown Portland. Because Kellogg Creek doesn't start till downtown Milwaukee, over there. So yeah, no, this is Johnson Creek, because we're too far north for it to be Kellogg. And I love Sellwood. I could go to Sellwood every day and be happy. The residential areas, I love. The little commercial stretches along 17th and mostly 13th, it's all that, love it. But I've been out for a big enough. God, I hope that's not pee in that big gulp cup. It's a very dehydrated orangish yellow. And there's a couple homeless people hanging around, so maybe one of them just didn't have a restroom. I don't know. Anyway, I don't know why I went off on that side tangent, but I put in some good walking today. I mean, I started way over by I-205, and now I'm in Sellwood. That's a good walk. And also, my phone is down to like 18%, so I can't really go that much longer. So otherwise, I'd meander around Sellwood for a while, but it was a solid walk, and it's like the perfect temperature for it still being kind of cool. Like I literally just in the last 10 minutes, I'm just starting to kind of feel a little warm in this. So, but you know, you can fix that pretty easy. So yeah, it's cool, but it's like if you're walking, you warm up pretty quick. And the path kind of wraps around and drops you onto Ochako here, which this is just a lot of big industrial buildings. There are the Goodwill bins up here, but yeah, I noticed there's a line of like RVs and stuff over here, which really just, again, not to get back on the homeless tangent. Where are you going in such a rush, buddy? You ain't got nowhere important to go. Going to Jimmy Boy's Kegger? Like, you have no... Guy driving a car like that has got nowhere important to go. I'll try not to forget, there's this little trail that comes in from the residential area a little bit, which is cool. You can just come in through there. And this is cool. I can literally go right up here and catch the 75 back into town. But yeah. So yeah, right up here is 17th, and I know that's where 75 goes, and I see somebody sitting there. Maybe they're waiting for a bus that's gonna show up soon, but you know, by soon I mean like 2 minutes, dude. Wait for me to get there. Bus is right there, but I have non-stop traffic and can't cross. So we'll try to cross here. Oh, thank you. Woo! Saved my day. Leave a bruise. Went to the store before going home and got some rock stars, and I didn't have anywhere to put them except in the inside pocket of this little number. So I feel like I look like I have a bomb strapped to me. I got on the bus and I was like, do not mess with this.